Hello everyone, myself Tulsi Patel. I am working as nursing tutor at Knowledge Institute of Nursing. So today we will study about physical examination of thorax. So let's see uh, the thorax and the lungs. It consists of the cardiovascular system and the respiratory system both. So we will see in detail. So first of all, we have to know the landmarks of the chest. So here you can see these they have divided in the three. This one is the mid sternal line, means in the middle of the sternum. Then right mid clavicular line, as well as this side the left mid clavicular line. Okay, then right anterior axillary line just about the axilla. Then right, this one is the right upper lobe, right middle lobe, and right lower lobe. So here are the thyroid cartilage and trachea, and here is the first rib. So this is the point which is we call suprasternal notch, and this one is the angle of Lewis, where the suprasternal notch and just below the angle of Lewis. Then on the left side there are only two lobes, the left upper lobe and left lower lobe. You have to remember that the right lung consists of three lobes and the left consists of two lobes. So here are the posterior axillary line, and here are the mid axillary line, and here are the anterior axillary line. So we will see this one is the scapular line, and this one is the vertebral line, and here is the spinal process, and here is left upper lobe as we have seen, and this is left lower lobe. Then scapula, right middle lobe, and right lower lobe. So the location of anterior and posterior ribs. So here is the number of the ribs, and here as we have seen the sternal notch, the clavicle, the manubrium, second costal cartilage. This one is the sternum, and this one is the xiphoid process, and here is the costal margin and the angle which is created by that, which is called costal angle. So how we can count the space? So just between the second and the third we count second interspace, and here is the seventh interspace. So chest shape and size in the adult thorax is oval in size. You can see that, and its anterior posterior diameter is half its transverse diameter. The overall shape of thorax is elliptical. You can see this is the cross section of the thorax. Here is the right lung and heart and IVC, and thorax duct, aorta, and esophagus, the three main tubes. And here is the vagus nerve passage. Here is the pleural cavity, and this one is the pericardial cavity. So we will see the assessment include posterior thorax and anterior thorax, and the techniques as we have seen, we all know: inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation. And which are the equipment we require? So the stethoscope, the skin marker or pencil, or the centimeter ruler. So first of all, we see posterior thorax inspection. So inspect shape and symmetry, and inspect spinal alignment for deformities. There are many deformities which is occurred due to spinal alignment. We will see in the next. So this one is the normal spine which we are having. So and this one is the barrel chest. The person who are suffering with asthma or emphysema will have barrel chest. Then this one is the scoliosis, the S curvature of the spine. You can observe this. Then this one is the pectus gradatum and pectus executum. So you have to remember this abnormality. You can easily see that in pectus gradatum there is this sternum, and all ribs are excluded. And the last one is kyphosis. So here we will see in posterior thorax, palpate the posterior thorax, palpate the posterior chest for respiratory excursion like thoracic expansion, palpate the chest for vocal, means tactile fremitus. So as shown in figure, you have to palpate the posterior thorax. The frontal perceptual vibration felt through the chest wall when the client speaks. So this is how you can observe the chest expansion. This how it is happened. And this one is the tactile parameters, high, mid, and low. That's how you have to, and you have to ask the client to speak 99. Posterior thorax. So we have to percuss the thorax. Percuss for diaphragmatic excursion. Movement of the diaphragm during maximal inspiration and expiration. So this how we have to create the pleximeter, and you have to put your plexus and ask the client, and you have to percuss for diaphragmatic excursion. Next is posterior thorax, and this how the this is happened. This one is the resonance, and here you can hear the dullness. So the space between that, which is like 3 to 5 centimeter, is space between that is exists. Next is auscultate the chest using the flat disc diaphragm of the stethoscope. And anterior thorax. So as we have seen the anatomy and the landmark of the uh, thorax, then you have to inspect for breathing. Inspect the costal angle. We have already seen where the costal angle is located. Then angle formed by the intersection of the costal margin, which is usually less than 90 degree, and the angle at which the ribs enter the spine. It means at the apex, it is approximately 45-degree angle. So you can observe it here. And as we have seen, anterior thorax, palpate the anterior chest, palpate the anterior chest for the respiratory excursion, and palpate the tactile parameters as we have seen. And you have to ask the client to speak 99 when you are assessing the tactile parameters. Then percuss the anterior chest symmetrically. So here you can observe the first resonance, second, then third. And as you are going below, you will hear the dullness, which is not the thorax dullness, but it is the liver dullness. Then here you can hear the cardiac dullness. And when you are having muscle on the rib, you can hear the flat sound. And this side you can hear the stomach tympani. Then anterior thorax, auscultate the trachea and auscultate the anterior thorax. Here you can hear the vesicular, and here is the bronchovesicular, and just at the bronchus you can hear the bronchial. So the mark which is, you can see where the BV is written, you can hear the bronchovesicular, and here from both lung side you can hear the vesicular. So what are the normal breath sound? The first one is vesicular. So the duration of sound, when you can hear, is inspiratory sound lasts longer than expiratory sound, and it is soft in intensity and relatively low in pitch, and you can hear it over the most of the lung. The next one is bronchovesicular. It is inspiratory and expiratory sounds are they are both equal, and the intensity is intermediate and the pitch is too intermediate, and often in the first and second interspace and anteriorly and between the scapula. The third one is the bronchial. It is expiratory sound, lasts longer than inspiratory ones, and it is loud intensity and relatively high in pitch over the manubrium, means larger proximal airway. And the last one is trachea, means inspiratory and expiratory sounds are about to equal, and the intensity is very loud and it is relatively very high. So you can hear it over the trachea and in the neck. The next we will see the adventitious breath sounds. So there are many adventitious breath sounds you can hear in various disease conditions. So first of all is crackles and rails. So what are the characteristics? It is short popping sound. Pitch and intensity is vary, can be heard during the inspiration, expiration, or both. So what can cause this sound? It created when air is forced through the bronchial passageway and narrowed by the fluid mucus or pus. If person is having coughing or any condition related to pneumonia or anything, or by the popping opening previously deflated alveoli. It can be sign of infection, inflammation, or congestive heart failure. The next one is ronchi. It is deep hoarse sound that have a snoring quality and are heard primarily during expiration. It is usually caused by secretion in the large airways and typically clear after coughing. And it is usually heard in the condition of bronchitis or pneumonia. The third one is wheezing. It is high pitch and musical sound that can be heard during the inspiration or expiration, and it is occurred due to airway narrowing. It is usually sign of asthma, but can also occur with other causes of airway narrowing such as COPD or bronchitis. And the last one is friction rub, a deep, harsh grating or cracking sound that is usually heard more than during like often inspiration than expiration, and it occurs when inflamed pleural surface loses their normal lubricating fluid and rub together during respiration. It can be associated with any condition like that can cause the pleural irritation such as pleuritis or pneumonia. So this is how you can see. This one is the crackle or rills, and it occurs during bronchiectasis, bronchitis, pneumonia, fibrosis, or congestive heart failure, and that's how it is heard. The next one is wheezing, and it is occurred due to asthma, COPD, and other causes of airway obstruction. And the next one is ronchi. It is snoring kind of sound, suggested secretion in the large airways. And the next one is cardiovascular and periphery vascular system. So techniques of the assessment are inspection, palpation, and auscultation. And equipments we do require is stethoscope and centimeter ruler. The assessment include heart, central vessels, and periphery vascular system. So you all know the gross anatomy of the heart, the atrium, the ventricle, the SVC, the IVC, and the aorta and everything. So we will see the part of the heart in the belowest, which is called apex of the heart. So the main thing you have to remember is this one is the aortic area, the first one. This one is the pulmonic, and just below the pulmonic there is ops point. Then the next one is the mitral area, which is fifth intercostal space and mid clavicular line. The fourth one is tricuspid area, and the last one, sixth one is epigastric area. So these are the anatomic site of the precordium. So simultaneously inspect and palpate the precordium for the presence of abnormal pulse. So you can see here, this one is the real image. Here you can see the pulmonic area. Here is the aortic area. This one is the sternum, and this area called tricuspid area, and this one is the mitral area. And here is the anterior axillary line, and here is the mid clavicular line. So here you can have point of maximum impulses. So auscultate the heart in all four anatomic sites like aortic, pulmonic, tricuspid, and mitral. So there are two normal heart sounds. S1 is called lub sound and S2 called dub sound. So when S1 is occur, so when tricuspid and mitral valve are closing, the lub sound occur, means S1 sound, and it is the beginning of systole, means contraction. The next one is S2 sound. It occurs when aortic and pulmonic valve closes, and it is heard when end of systole or beginning of diastole, means dilation. So normal heart sound, it is S1 and S2 as we have already seen. The next one is S3 sound. It is rapid ventricular filling during early diastole. And the fourth one is S4, which is occurred due to atrial contraction and decreased ventricular compliance during late diastole. So when you have heard this S3 and S4, which means the person is suffering with something tough. So these are the central vessels. Here is the right external jugular vein and right common carotid artery, which is usually supply the blood to the brain. This one is the most important one. And here is the sternomastoid muscles. Here is the left external jugular vein and left common carotid artery and left internal jugular vein. So, and here is the superior vena cava, and just next to it, aorta. So you have to palpate the carotid artery. Palpate the carotid artery using extreme cushion and auscultate the carotid artery. So one thing you must have to note that when you are palpating the carotid artery, never put your finger more than 10 seconds, never ever. Otherwise, you are harming your patient. So next one is jugular vein. You have to inspect the jugular vein for distension. If jugular vein distension is present, assess the jugular venous pressure. And if it is in elder, then the person is suffering with fluid volume overload. And you must have to remember this one. The next one is peripheral vascular system. You have to assess for peripheral pulses, peripheral veins, and peripheral perfusion. The next one is Buger's test, atrial adequacy test. Buger test is used to assess the adequacy of the arterial supply to the leg. And the next one is capillary refill test. The next is breast and axilla. So you can see the anatomy of the female breast where the ribs are located, muscles, fatty tissue, lobes, duct, areola, nipple, and lobules. So inspect the breast for the size and symmetry and contour or shape. Inspect the skin of the breast and inspect the areola and nipple. Palpate the axillary subclavicular, supraclavicular lymph nodes and palpate the breast for the masses, tenderness and any discharge from the nipples. So this was about the breast palpation technique. We have to do this one is the wedge method. Here is the ventricular strip and this one is the circular motion. Okay? So this was about the examination of thorax. I hope you understand everything. Thank you so much.